I thought we had the perfect relationship. 3 years together, shared dreams, shared everything. Then one evening, I opened Instagram and discovered every single photo of me had vanished from her feed. Hundreds of memories gone. When I asked why, she smiled and said it was for her aesthetic. That moment, scrolling through a profile that erased my existence, I realized I had been funding a fantasy where I was never meant to exist. Little did she know aesthetics work both ways. Before we dive into how a simple Instagram decision destroyed a 3-year relationship, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button. Trust me, you will want to hear how aesthetic choices can reveal someone's true colors. My name is Raul, and I am a 27-year-old software engineer living in Austin, Texas. I met Madison 2 years ago at a downtown coffee shop called Mojo's, one of those places with exposed brick walls and baristas who remember your order. She was working behind the counter, and I was immediately drawn to her energy. She had this spark, this excitement about life that felt contagious. Between pouring lattes, she would talk about her photography, her plans to build a social media presence, her dreams of becoming an influencer. After weeks of carefully timed coffee runs, I finally asked her out. Our first date lasted 6 hours. We talked about everything from childhood dreams to future plans. She showed me her Instagram, which had maybe 2,000 followers at the time, mostly artsy shots of sunsets and coffee art. I loved how passionate she was about creating something meaningful. 6 months into dating, she moved into my apartment. It felt natural, like we were building something real together. Madison was still working part-time at the coffee shop, but her real focus was growing her online presence. She spent hours planning content, researching hashtags, studying what made other influencers successful. I admired her dedication. About a year into our relationship, she came to me with a proposal. She wanted to quit her job and pursue content creation full-time. The barista gig was holding her back, stealing energy she could put into building her brand. I did not hesitate. I made $85,000 a year, my job was stable, and I wanted to support her dreams. I told her to go for it, but she was worried about money, about being a burden. That is when I added her as an authorized user on my bank account. I gave her a supplementary credit card with a $5,000 limit. My thinking was simple. If she did not have to stress about money, she could focus entirely on creating content. Once her channel grew and sponsorships came in, she could contribute. Until then, I had her covered. Those first few months were beautiful. Madison threw herself into content creation with incredible energy. She was constantly shooting, editing, posting, and I was part of it. She would film us cooking dinner together, capture our weekend trips to Barton Springs, document our gym sessions. Her content had this authentic couple goals vibe that people loved. Her followers grew from 2,000 to 15,000 in just 5 months. I was so proud of her. Of course, the expenses increased too. She needed better equipment, a professional camera, a ring light, a tripod. Then came the wardrobe upgrades because she needed variety for different shoots. There were the endless trips to trendy cafes because those locations got better engagement. I watched the credit card statements climb. $300 one month, $700 the next, then $1,200. But I did not mind. My salary covered it, and seeing her excited about hitting milestones made it worth it. Then I started noticing small changes. Madison became obsessed with metrics. Every morning, first thing she did was check her phone. How many likes overnight? How many new followers? What was her engagement rate? She would compare herself to other influencers, frustrated when someone with fewer followers got more likes. She hired a social media consultant at $250 per session to help optimize her content strategy. It was a Friday evening about 3 months ago when everything shifted. I was lying on the couch, mindlessly scrolling through social media after a long day of coding. I clicked on Madison's profile, curious to see her latest post. That is when my stomach dropped. I scrolled through her entire feed. Once, twice, 3 times. Every photo that included me had been deleted. Our trip to Sedona for my birthday. Christmas morning with my family. Our anniversary dinner at Uchi. All gone. The feed was now entirely solo shots of Madison, carefully curated images of her in coffee shops, parks, perfectly lit bedrooms. My first thought was that it had to be a technical error. Maybe Instagram glitched. I closed the app and reopened it. Still gone. I felt this weird hollow sensation in my chest, like I had been digitally erased from her life. These were not just photos. They were our memories, our story. When Madison came home from her yoga class that evening, I asked her about it. I kept my voice calm, trying not to sound accusatory. Her reaction was immediate and defensive. She sighed like I was being difficult and said, "Babe, it is just for the aesthetic. My feed looks messy." She explained that her consultant had suggested creating a more cohesive visual theme. Apparently, the photos with me did not match her new color palette. She was going for earthy tones and minimalist vibes, and our couple photos disrupted that flow. "It is nothing personal," she said, touching my arm. "This is business. I promise I will post couple content again once the rebrand is done." She made it sound so reasonable, so professional. I felt confused. Was I being insecure? Was this just how social media worked? I did not want to be that controlling boyfriend who dictated what his girlfriend could post. So I swallowed my hurt and said, "Okay." But that nagging feeling would not go away. Late that night, lying in bed while Madison scrolled through other influencer profiles, I could not shake the sensation that I had just been erased. 2 weeks passed. I tried to forget about the Instagram thing, told myself it was not a big deal. Then Madison deleted her story highlights that featured me. She replaced them with highlights called Aesthetic Self-Care and Mindful Moments. All solo content. Her bio changed too. It used to say, "Creating magic with my person." Now it read, "Living my best life." I noticed, but said nothing. I did not want another conversation where I ended up feeling like the insecure one. The bank statement arrived at the end of that month. $3,200 in charges. I sat at my desk going through each line item. A designer handbag from Nordstrom for $1,200. A makeup haul at Sephora for $700. $500 spent at various trendy restaurants for content shoots. A new ring light setup for $300. More camera equipment, more clothes, more accessories. When I asked Madison about it, she had the same response. Investment in my brand, babe. She showed me her analytics, how certain types of posts performed better, how looking polished increased engagement. I asked about revenue. She had made $350 that month from a single sponsored post for a skincare brand. I did the math in my head, but said nothing. I created an Excel spreadsheet that night to track expenses versus income, feeling increasingly uneasy. Madison's behavior was changing in other ways too. She spent less and less time actually present with me. Even when we were together, she was on her phone, responding to DMs, engaging with followers, researching trends. Our dates stopped being about us and became photo opportunities. We would go to dinner, and I would have to wait 15 minutes while she arranged the food, adjusted the lighting shot from different angles. By the time she was done, everything was cold. If I accidentally appeared in the background of a shot, she would crop me out. "You are blocking the aesthetic angle, babe," she said, once repositioning me away from a sunset we were supposedly watching together. I started to feel like a prop she had to work around, rather than a partner she wanted to include. It all came crashing down on a Tuesday night. I woke up around 2 a.m. thirsty. As I walked to the kitchen, I noticed light coming from the living room. Madison had fallen asleep on the couch with her iPad still open. I was not trying to snoop, but the screen was right there. A DM conversation was pulled up. The name at the top said, Kyle. I should have walked away. But I saw my name in the messages and froze. Kyle had written, "When are you going to tell him?" Madison's reply, "Soon. I just need to secure the brand deal first." Kyle responded, "You deserve someone who gets your vision." And then Madison, "I know, he is sweet but so basic, not camera-friendly." I felt like I had been punched. I scrolled up reading more, flirty exchanges going back weeks. Kyle was a photographer. They were planning collaborations. The messages had an intimacy that made my skin crawl. I stood there in the dark holding her iPad, reading through a conversation that revealed exactly what I meant to her, which was apparently nothing. The next morning, I asked her about Kyle. I tried to stay calm, just wanted an honest conversation. Madison exploded. "You went through my messages, that is invasion of privacy." She flipped it completely, made me the villain for seeing texts that were left open. She insisted Kyle was just a professional connection, that I was being insecure and controlling. "This is why I cannot have you in my content," she said, her voice cold. "You bring negative energy." And here is the pathetic part. I apologized. I actually said sorry for being suspicious, for not trusting her. She had gaslit me so effectively that I questioned my own reality. That is when I knew something was deeply wrong, but I still did not have the strength to walk away. My best friend Marcus reached out a few days later. He sent a text that said, "Dude saw Madison at the Grove yesterday with some photographer guy, looking pretty cozy." I immediately defended her. "That is just work, man." Marcus replied, "Man, wake up. She is using you." I got irritated and shut down the conversation. I did not want to hear it, even though part of me knew he was right. The following weekend, I made the mistake of bringing Madison to dinner at my parents' house. My mom had been asking to see us, and I thought a family meal might reconnect us somehow. Madison spent the entire dinner on her phone. My mom tried making conversation, asking about Madison's work, showing genuine interest. Madison gave distracted one-word answers. When my mom wanted to take a family photo, Madison refused. "The lighting is terrible," she said. "It will ruin my feed consistency." She did not post a single thing about the dinner, but later that night she posted a mirror selfie taken in my parents' bathroom. The caption read, "Grateful for quiet moments." My mom texted me the next day. "Is she okay?" She seemed distant. I felt embarrassed, making excuses for behavior I could not even explain to myself. 3 months had passed since the initial photo deletion. I ran the numbers. $9,000 in total spending. Madison's followers had grown to 22,000, which sounds impressive. Her total revenue from sponsored content and affiliate links amounted to $1,500. I stared at that Excel sheet and faced the reality. I had lost $7,500 supporting someone who had digitally erased me from her life. Then she told me she needed a new summer wardrobe for upcoming content. She showed me a shopping list totaling $5,000. "I need to stay current with trends," she explained, as if this was a normal request. A week later, Madison got invited to an influencer event downtown, some brand launch party with other content creators. It came with a +1, and I assumed she would ask me to come. Instead, she said, "Actually, Kyle is going to be my photographer for the event. You would just be in the way." She paused, then added, "Besides, you do not photograph well. No offense." No offense, as if that phrase erased the insult. I just nodded and said, "Okay, have fun." That night, while she was at the event, I lay on the couch scrolling through her Instagram stories. Picture after picture of her and Kyle, him adjusting her hair for shots, her laughing at something he said. The two of them posed together at the photo wall. I had become so irrelevant that she did not even pretend anymore. The realization hit me with complete clarity. I was not her boyfriend. I was her bank account. The breaking point came the following Tuesday. I had come home early from work. Something about our servers being down for maintenance. Madison was in the bedroom on the phone. The door was slightly open, and I could hear everything. She was talking to a friend, her voice casual and light. "Yeah, Raoul is fine," she said. "He pays for everything which is convenient." A pause while her friend responded. Then Madison laughed. "Love girl, I love my lifestyle. He is just funding my glow-up until I can afford it myself. Once I hit 50,000 followers, I will not need him anymore." Her friend must have said something because Madison laughed again. "It is called strategy. He is too nice to say no." I stood frozen in the hallway. 3 years together, and I had just been reduced to a transaction, a convenient funding source for her ambitions. Every ignored red flag came flooding back. The deleted photos, the constant spending, the way she had slowly erased me from her life while draining my bank account. I did not feel sad anymore. I felt cold, clear-headed, determined. I did not confront her. I did not storm into the bedroom demanding an explanation. Instead, I quietly walked back out of the apartment and sat in my car. I pulled up my banking app and researched how to remove an authorized user. It was surprisingly simple. One phone call verification of identity, done. I checked Madison's calendar on our shared Google account. She had plans this coming Saturday for a shopping trip with friends. She had already mentioned wanting to buy outfits for an upcoming brand collaboration. She had budgeted $3,000 for herself. Perfect timing. For the rest of the week, I acted completely normal. I was sweet attentive, gave her no reason to suspect anything. On Friday night, Madison was excited about her shopping plans. "I am hitting Nordstrom and then Sephora," she said. "I need new summer looks for content." I smiled and said, "Sounds great, babe. Have fun." She kissed me goodbye, told me I was the best, said she would show me everything she bought. Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, Madison left with her friends. I waited until 9:30, then called the bank. "I would like to remove an authorized user from my account," I said calmly. The representative asked for information to verify my identity. I provided everything. The process took 15 minutes. When it was done, Madison no longer had access. Her supplementary credit card, which was linked to my account, was deactivated. I felt this strange sense of peace. For months I had felt powerless, like I was trapped in a situation I could not control. But with one phone call, I had taken back my power. I was not being cruel. I was simply removing access to my money the same way she had removed me from her aesthetic. At 11:15, my phone rang. Madison. I let it ring 3 times before answering, keeping my voice casual. "Hey, what is up?" Her voice came through, frantic, embarrassed. "My card is not working. It keeps declining." I could hear the stress in her tone. "I am at checkout with $500 worth of stuff. This is so embarrassing." "That is strange," I said, keeping my voice flat. "Did you check if there is an issue?" "Can you call the bank?" she asked. "Maybe there is a fraud alert or something." "No fraud," I replied calmly. "I removed you as an authorized user this morning." Silence. Long, heavy silence. I could picture her face, the confusion, the dawning realization. "You what?" she finally said. "Why would you do that?" "For my financial aesthetic," I answered. "What the hell does that mean?" "Well," I said, my voice measured, "you deleted me from your Instagram for your aesthetic. I deleted your access to my money for mine. Fair trade, do you not think?" "This is not funny, Raoul." Her voice was rising. "I am standing here with my friends. Everyone is staring." "Then I suggest you put the items back." She started screaming. "You cannot do this. That is my money too." "Actually, it is not," I corrected. "It is my account. You were a courtesy addition, one I am now revoking." "I need that money," she said, desperation creeping in. "I have brand obligations. I have commitments." "Then use the $1,500 you made from Instagram," I suggested. That is already spent. On what? I asked. Not rent, not groceries. I pay for everything. Her tactics shifted. Her voice went soft, pleading. Babe, I am sorry. Let us talk about this when I get home. This is not how we handle things. I heard your phone conversation Tuesday, I said, about me being convenient, about funding your glow-up, about not needing me once you hit 50,000 followers. She caught her breath. You were eavesdropping. I was in my own home. You were loud. I did not mean it like that, she stammered. Yes, you did, and that is fine, but I am done funding someone who sees me as an ATM. She was crying now. What about us? What about our relationship? What relationship? I asked. I am not even in your aesthetic. Remember, you made that very clear. So that is it. You are breaking up with me over a credit card. No, I said. I am breaking up with you because you deleted me from your life long before this. I am just returning the favor. When you get home, your things will be packed. You have until Sunday evening to move out. You cannot just kick me out. It is my apartment, my name on the lease. You can move back with your parents or find somewhere else, but you are not staying here. I cannot believe you are doing this, she sobbed. I cannot believe it took me this long, I replied. Then I hung up. I blocked her number immediately. I called my landlord and explained the situation, got approval to change the locks. I spent the afternoon packing Madison's belongings neatly into boxes. Her camera equipment, her ring lights, her carefully curated wardrobe, everything organized and ready to go. Then I texted her mother, someone I had always gotten along with. Madison and I have broken up. She can pick up her things tomorrow. I am sorry it ended this way. As I sat in the quiet apartment that evening, I felt something I had not felt in months. Relief. No phone notifications constantly going off. No complaints about lighting or angles. No more watching someone I loved treat me like a convenient resource. Just peace. The first week after the breakup was strange. Madison tried everything to get through to me. Her friends started texting, calling me cruel, saying I had blindsided her. She created a new phone number and sent long messages. Can we please talk? I made mistakes, but we can fix this. I did not reply to any of it. There was nothing left to say. She posted a vague story on Instagram. Sometimes people show their true colors when tested. The comments flooded in people asking what happened, offering support. Some of our mutual friends unfollowed me, clearly having heard her version of events. I did not care. The people who mattered knew the truth. A mutual friend eventually told me the full story. Madison had been seeing Kyle for a month before our breakup. They made it official 2 days after I ended things. I checked her Instagram once, just out of curiosity. Her profile photo was now her and Kyle perfectly coordinated outfits standing against a colorful mural. The caption read, "Finally found someone who truly sees me." I actually laughed. They deserved each other. The first week was weird because of the silence. No constant phone notifications. No one asking me to hold a reflector or wait while they captured the perfect shot. Just quiet. But it was a good quiet, a liberating quiet. I started using the money I had been spending on Madison's dreams to invest in my own life. I booked a trip to Colorado Springs for hiking, something I had always wanted to do, but Madison hated outdoor activities that might mess up her hair or makeup. I joined a gym near my apartment, not for content, not for photos, just to work out. It felt incredible to exercise without someone documenting every rep for engagement. I reconnected with Marcus and other friends I had been neglecting. We had guys' nights with pizza and video games, no performance required, no one worried about how anything looked online. I checked my bank account at the end of that first month. I had saved $1,200, money that would have been spent on handbags and makeup and trendy brunch spots. I used some of it to pay off the credit card debt Madison had accumulated. Then I opened an investment account, something I had been putting off. I met with a financial advisor who told me, "You're on track for retirement now." That simple statement made me feel more accomplished than any Instagram milestone ever had. I started dating again after a few months. Nothing serious, just putting myself out there. I matched with a woman named Angela on a dating app. She was a third-grade teacher with a warm smile and zero interest in social media fame. Our first date was at a quiet Italian restaurant. We talked for 3 hours. She never once pulled out her phone to check notifications. She actually listened when I spoke, asked follow-up questions, seemed genuinely interested in my life. When our food arrived, she just started eating. No photos, no angles, no concerns about lighting. It was so normal that it almost felt revolutionary. We talked about our families, our jobs, our hobbies. She never mentioned Instagram, never asked how many followers I had. At the end of the night, she thanked me for a wonderful evening and said she would love to see me again. It was simple, genuine, real. 6 months after breaking up with Madison, I found myself sitting in the same coffee shop where we first met. Mojo's with its exposed brick and familiar smell of espresso. But I was a different person now. I had learned that love should never cost you your dignity. I learned that supporting someone's dreams is different from being used. I learned that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them the first time. I did not check Madison's Instagram anymore, but I heard through friends that she was still posting, still chasing that aesthetic perfection. Her follower count had grown to 28,000. Her relationship with Kyle had ended after 3 months when he moved on to another influencer with a bigger platform. The cycle continued without me. Angela and I were still dating, taking things slow but steady. She posted photos of us occasionally with captions like, "Lucky to have this one," or "Best Sunday with my favorite person." Simple, genuine posts that made me feel seen and valued, not as a prop or a background element to be cropped out, but as a real partner in her life. I learned something important through all of this. Aesthetic is just a fancy word for fake. Real beauty exists in authenticity, not in curated feeds designed to impress strangers. Real love does not delete you when you do not match a color scheme. Real relationships do not require you to fund someone else's fantasy while being erased from their reality. The hardest lesson was learning to value myself enough to walk away. For months I had accepted being treated as invisible, telling myself I was being supportive when I was actually being used. The moment I took back control, everything changed. Not because I was cruel or vengeful, but because I finally respected myself enough to stop accepting less than I deserved. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Madison wanted an aesthetic life filled with perfect images and coordinated outfits. She got it just without my bank account funding it. And I got something better. Peace, authenticity, and a relationship where I am actually valued for who I am, not what I can provide. I learned that aesthetic is just a fancy word for fake. Real beauty is in authenticity, not curated feeds. And real love. It does not delete you when you do not match the color scheme. Sometimes the best filter is the one that removes toxic people from your life. No Valencia or Clarendon needed. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been erased from someone's life while still being expected to support them? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes we all need a reminder that we deserve better than being someone's convenient ATM. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there recognize their worth before they lose themselves trying to fund someone else's dreams. Take care of yourselves, and remember, your value is not determined by whether you fit someone's aesthetic. Until next time.